This episode of the Bar Star Podcast is proudly brought to you by Louisville Music Studios, located at 4220 Trio Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky. Zip code is 40219, and the phone number for booking is 502-693-7462. Louisville Music Studios is awesome. That is where my home base is for my new secret project. And they have been amazing. The staff is amazing. David Payne has worked on a really, really cool concept and brought it to life. And he is constantly making changes over there. It's an awesome place. You guys need to go check it out because not only is it an awesome place, but they're giving away something for free. David and I had a conversation and he decided to extend our offer with a 2-hour minimum. If you call that number for booking to book some rehearsal time, you will get your first hour for free. Free shit. Who doesn't like free shit? We're musicians. Most of us are broke. So check them out. If you have not checked out Louisville Music Studios yet, you need to. Like I've said before, you can go in and rehearse for a couple hours. You can rehearse for an afternoon. You can set up a monthly rental so you can have a home base to work on, I don't know, secret projects, whatever you want to. So Louisville Music Studios is awesome. You need to go check them out. Staff is amazing. The gear is amazing. The room is amazing. I love them. They love me. And everything is just sunshine and fucking puppies. Oh yeah. Enjoy this episode of the show.
The Bar Star Podcast, hosted by Stephen O'Reilly, is a podcast about working musicians, their friends, and their opinions. Stephen is a musician in Louisville, Kentucky, who has... Wait a second. This guy's a drummer, not a real musician? Somebody gave a drummer a microphone for his voice? The hell? Unreal. Unbelievable.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Bar Star Podcast. And not only is it another episode, it is the 1-year anniversary. Can you fuckers believe it? I've been doing this for a year. Oh my God. I can't believe I made it a year. It is largely in part due to you guys. You guys have been awesome and amazing. Welcome to the Bar Star Podcast. I got a cool hang today. We will get to that in a second. I just wanted to take a few minutes to say thank you to everybody. Seriously, you guys have been amazing. You have supported me on this journey, and you continue to support me, and I appreciate it. When I started to do this show, I wasn't sure how long it was going to last, and I know I covered this a few weeks ago in my last episode of 2018, but I can't extend enough how grateful I am that you guys have continued to support me, and you continue to support me, and you keep telling your friends, and I keep getting new downloads, and I keep getting new followers, and you guys are awesome, and you're amazing, and you deserve a round of applause. It's the best I can do. It's all I got. Cheap Bar Star sound effects. When I started this show, I wasn't sure where it was going to go, and I've learned a lot, and I've got to hang out with some amazing people, and the friendships that I do have, some of the friends that have been on the show, we're even closer now because we've got to hang out and talk about some things that we normally don't talk about in our everyday interactions, which is really cool. So again, I can't thank you guys enough for making I hate to be cliche, I shouldn't say making a stream a reality, but for making this thing come true and make it come to life, and for believing in my vision and believing in me and continuing to support it. You guys are badass. Now get your asses to my website and buy some shit. Fuck. Please make sure you check out my sponsor, Prophecy Inc., located in the ultra chic, fabulous Highlands, Louisville, Kentucky. Go in the shop, mention the Bar Star Podcast. You will get 10% off your tattoo by any artist in the shop, not just Travis. And make sure you check out my awesome sponsor, Louisville Music Studios, located at 4220 Trio Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky. make sure that you call them and mention the show. And with a 2-hour minimum, you will get your first hour for free. I'm giving away free stuff. That is the home base of my secret project. Yes, secret project. And it's an awesome place. They've got some cool stuff. David is working on some really, really cool things. I'm not sure if I can talk about it yet, so I'm not going to say anything. But we talked the other day, and he's got some cool shit he's working on, and he's building some stuff out. So make sure you check them out. I also want to say, with this being the first show of 2019 and a 1-year anniversary show for me, to the guys in Gas Money, thank you all for the last 4 or 5 years, however long we've been doing the band. Most of you know that the band is no longer. We are done. We are finished. Finito. It is put to bed. It is gone. Bye-bye. See you later. But it's been awesome. We got to do some amazing shows. We got to play with some amazing bands. We got to play for Microsoft in Orlando. All expenses paid trip. That was totally, totally cool. One day I might actually break down that whole show because those 4 days were fucking interesting, to say the least. But that was a really, really cool experience, and I couldn't have made it happen without the rest of you guys. So some of you I know listen to the show. A couple of you I know don't listen to the show, and that's because you're fucking lame, but I still love you. But thank you guys for everything. We had a good run. We got to do some cool shit, and now it's on to the next thing. So if you got any pictures or anything you want to grab off the Gas Money site or the Gas Money page, you better do so, because it's going to be gone soon. Now, I have the fortunate pleasure of being able to hang out with some really, really cool people. And the guy I get to hang out with today is Danny fucking Bonaducci. No, I'm just kidding. Is the drummer for Radiotronic, Luca Bianconcini. Very, very nice guy. Great drummer. We have run into each other several times, had a few conversations. Nothing massive, nothing major. But we've had some conversations. But he listens to the show, and I ran into him a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Hey, man, I've been wanting to have you on the show. Would you do it?" And he went, "Fuck you. I'm not doing your stupid show." I'm just kidding. He totally didn't say that. He absolutely said he would love to. And so we worked it out. He came to the office, and we recorded a show which you are about to hear. But for the last time, I do want to say thank you all. You guys have been amazing. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. Keep it coming. I need it. It feeds my ego. It makes me feel important and special. And go to my website. Buy some shit like Sidney Majors did. And like Nathan King did. And like Jason Gosign did. They bought some shit. Go do some shit. Go buy some shit. Whatever. Anyway, thank you guys for all the support. You guys have been awesome. And you're going to enjoy this episode. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. Luca's a good dude. And we had a lot of fun. And that's pretty much all I got. So thank you. 1 year anniversary, January 11th, today, which is a Friday, which I know I post on Thursdays, but I had to do it on the 1 year anniversary. I just had to. So with that, I'm out, or I'm not out. Wait, am I out? Fuck it. Check out this conversation. You'll dig it. All right, so I just did a really long, stupid, lame-ass intro because that's how I roll, but I'm sitting here with my pseudo buddy, and I say pseudo because we actually don't know each other that well, but we're about to, and it's going to be awesome. I'm hanging out with the fine drummer, Luca Bianconcini. How are you, sir?
You nailed it. I'm doing great.
I did. I was going to call you, hey, it's fucking Luca.
Hey,
but
Luca's in the house. Forget about it.
Forget about it. How are you, man? How's going on?
I'm fucking great, man.
How's things? How's life?
It's good. Life is pretty freaking good.
Nice.
Busy, but good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Now, I say we don't know each other well because we have not spent a lot of time together. Every time we see each other, we're always talking drum stuff because that's what we do.
And it's usually passing in between sets or
Yes.
in between benefits or you doing this and that, and it's pretty brief, but I feel like I know you like a brother.
Aw,
You're a hell of a guy from what I can see and what I've
A lot of people think I'm an asshole.
And, well, that's okay. I'm learning. I'm learning.
You're learning that I'm an asshole.
No, still trying to figure it all out.
No, it's cool. I met you. I was trying to think before you came over, and I honestly can't remember the exact time. I know I met you when you started playing with Radiotronic, because I've known Jeff for a while.
Correct.
But I don't remember when it was. I'm gonna throw a dart at the wall and say it was a couple years ago.
Yep, and I think my recollection was probably one of the McCreary events, and maybe it was more Velvet Saints related. Because, I mean, that's when I first remember really talking to you and meeting you for the first time and like, man, who is this guy? And then after I met you, found out what a badass drummer you are. And
stop thinking.
Well, go on, please. This guy was super cool, and who is he? And then I see a video and I hear a song and I'm like, okay, he's the real deal. And I do remember. One of the first events was at Diamonds in the Highlands, and I remember.
Fest.
Yeah, that may have been the one where we really got to know each other, maybe the best. We probably met before then, but
I would say probably because there were the last two Kev Fests in a row. Let me rephrase that: 17 and 16, because this last one I didn't go to because I actually had a gig.
We were not involved in that one.
Yeah, but 17 and 16, I stage managed for both.
Correct.
I remember that because I shouldn't even say stage manage. I basically was helping out all the drummers.
Yeah.
Is what I was
And
doing.
it was definitely before the one at 942, because I feel like I knew you then, and you were super helpful, and you're like, oh my God, you were awesome. But we were talking, I just remember talking to you at Diamonds, and I kind of remember that whole scene, and it was rough. It was sad.
It was.
It was happy. It was sad. It was a great celebration, but it was just, this, I just had this lump, and I wish I knew McCreary better than I did, but I was fortunate enough to hang with him. I met him years ago through Epperson, who is my brother-in-law. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not know that.
Jeff is my brother-in-law. And so I'd met him at many parties over the years and chatted, but never really got to hang out and get to know him and jam with him. And I still am hearing more and more about how incredible. And I see videos and I listen to recordings that he's done, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I got to play with this legend, and I knew this guy, and I think it was Carl Stuck who said it the best, when he got up on stage, and he was like, I bet half of this room felt like he was your best friend, and it's true. He just made people feel like, I mean, you're the dude right now. You and I are together. You're the guy, and he was just an amazing human being.
Well, and that's the cool part is, and I'm by no stretch of the imagination belittling his playing, because God knows he was awesome. The coolest thing about McCreary is he was just a good damn human.
Yep.
He was.
Yep.
Like I had a conversation with somebody who apparently had an issue with Kevin. I'm not going to name the person. I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus. But I was like, who the fuck has an issue with Kevin?
Right.
You have the issue.
Yeah.
Kevin didn't have the issue.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. It kind of shocked me. Not a whole lot shocks me anymore.
Yeah. I think I would have been pretty shocked, and then, okay.
Wait, no, you're the one with the issue, brother.
Yeah.
Kevin didn't have an issue with anybody.
There's no doubt. He lit up the room, and people say that, and it's true. You walk in the room and you see that guy smile, and you have a conversation with him, and he was the dude. So we could go on all night about how awesome. But this show is about me, so just ask me some questions. No, I'm kidding. just fucking.
I like how you did that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, let's segue. I digress.
So, how old are you? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I do have some random questions. Sure. You've listened to enough of my episodes. I don't do, quote, interviews, but this one will be close to an interview because there is a lot to you I don't know. For example, how are you Jeff's brother-in-law? Don't say by marriage. I mean, what's the tie there?
Yes. Well, his wife, Carrie Richardson, is my wife's sister, Dawn.
Oh, very cool.
Richardson Bianconcini.
Bianconcini.
Bianconcini's. And they are both
You're making
awesome.
Me hungry.
Yeah, man, I can throw down on some pasta. So, when we take a break, I'll make some spaghetti.
Sweet.
But
yes,
that's
cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever met your wife actually.
May not. You've probably seen her. She is 6 feet tall, no joke, and usually wearing boots or heels, and so she's about 6'3", so you can't miss her. Beautiful. Blonde hair. Awesome. She's
at the levee. She was wearing a furry vest.
She was wearing that in the beginning, and then our sound guy wore it the rest of the night. It looked good on both. I don't want to say if it looked better on one of the other.
Oh, no, it looked way better on your wife. Way better on your wife. Okay, I have seen her. She reminds me, and this is not a slam at all. I don't know if you know who this person is. She reminds me of a singer named Storm Large. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
Storm Large is about 6'1" and looks. I mean, they could be sisters. They don't look identical, but as soon as I saw her when we were at the levee, we went over there and I pulled up a picture of Storm Large and I showed her.
That's hilarious.
Like, look at that chick, and she went, "Yeah, I can see that." So
that's Emerson's wife. That's the.
But I didn't put it together.
Right, correct.
So that's cool. All right. So I've never met her. Now you've met my wife.
Yes, I have. Awesome.
She is awesome.
I bought her flowers.
You did. Oh my God, you're so cute. Yes, honey. When you listen to this episode,
you bought the pink flowers. It doesn't like to come empty-handed.
I liked it though. I liked it. The funniest part was I looked at the peephole and I saw this pink blob. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
At least you live next door to a cop. You know?
You are so yeah. Don't let that shit get out.
No.
Now that I know the tie, okay. So that's out of the way. When did you start playing drums?
I started in 6th grade.
Okay, actually, I really do want to know. How old are you?
Okay, I'll be 50 this summer.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You don't look that old.
I mean, it's all this healthy, clean living I've been doing for these years. And my calisthenics.
I do my cardio when I eat my pasta.
You know, that's exactly right. On the treadmill.
All right, cool. All right, so you started playing in 6th grade.
Yeah. It was one of those things. I loved the drums. I loved the sound of them. I would hear a sound or a song that were heavy drum influence. I'm like, man, that's what I wanted. That's what I like. I can remember hearing Frankenstein, Edgar Winter for the first time, that song or something. I'm like, God, that sounds so cool. I want to play the drums.
Right.
I hassled my parents. Well, actually, I go back. I was at camp. I was at soccer camp, and this kid introduced me
Thank
to.
God you didn't say band camp.
No. Well, I went to plenty of band camps. We'll get to that, but I was in the band. I was a band geek for a while. But soccer camp, I know you're not a big Peart fan, but I'm a huge Rush fan, and this guy turned me on. I think it was the first time I heard Tom Sawyer. I mean, I'm in 6th grade, so it was years ago.
I called me out on that. That was good.
Well, I listen.
Oh, props.
I listen.
High five in the microphone. Props for that. That was good.
I listen.
Carry on.
But, so I hadn't really been exposed to Rush, and I just was like really wanting to play drums. And this guy, I play drums. Listen to this song. I started taking lessons. And so he put on Tom Sawyer, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I love this. This is great. And I think once I got back home, I begged my parents into, I want drum lessons for my birthday or Christmas or whatever it was. And I started taking drum lessons at Johnny Roy's, good old John Roy's drum shop. And so
this is where I want a camera in here because I'm staring at the ceiling with a really fucking befuddled look on my face. I know who he is. I know he's a legend in Louisville, but I've never got to meet him. I've seen him once. And he's still alive, right?
He is, yep. And
like
his
108?
He's up there, and his wife is on Facebook, and she has friended a ton of. I mean, I see mutual friends with so and so and such, and they're all names of people who've been through. That was kind of the only game in town back in the day. It was Johnny Roy's Drum Shop. It was on Lexington Road, or right there in front of the old White Castles, right down from the old Sears building, as people in Louisville like to refer things to.
Right.
Yeah, all these things.
Well, I remember Marvin Maxwell telling me about John Roy, and what a phenomenal player he was, and how many people he taught back in the day.
Right.
But I've never got to meet him. It's just one of those things. I saw him once. I was literally. Oh, I like that. I was literally on my way out the door, and I was late for a gig. Which, for me, being late for a gig is, I was still going to be 30 minutes early, but
unheard of.
Yeah. I have a lot of shit.
I understand.
I'm very OCD about my drums. It takes me a minute to set them up. But I didn't get to talk to him or meet him. But I've always heard what a legend he is, and what
just
an awesome dude he was back in the day.
I mean, just an old chilled out. You know, I wasn't the best student. I wouldn't come to the lessons prepared, and he didn't care. He would
you were that kid.
Yes, I was that kid, and he was that instructor. And I'd heard from others, he would fix his cup of coffee and put it on page 1 and then go walk away for, 15 minutes and then come back and he'd go, okay. And then he would show you something and then he'd go get his cup and walk away. And, but they did some cool things there back then. They did some ensembles, which I'd never been a part of. And to be in a drum ensemble to me was so cool. It's like, oh, we're all doing something and we're all reading music and we're all, making this awesome sound. Wow, this is amazing. And that kind of hooked me. And they had other instructors there that I ended up working with. And one became he was our section leader when I was in high school.
Right.
So I played in the concert band in middle school, which I loved. And then I when I was in high school, I played in concert band. And the first two years I played marching band, which was fun. I also played football, so I had to kind of stop doing that. But
go sports
ball. Exactly. Whatever.
Sorry.
No, it got me out of the marching band part, but I had some really great experiences. We had a great band. It was a great program, and we traveled and played some cool festivals. But we got to play for Ronald Reagan after a presidential debate in downtown Louisville.
Oh, very cool.
Which was pretty amazing, playing Hail to the Chief and Ruffles and Flourish 'em. And, right there after he did a debate on national TV.
Nice.
And then a year later, we played it was Vice President Bush at another event. And, we were the go-to school, I guess, because we had the experience and we did it. And those were great experiences that you'll never forget,
Right. Yeah, that's very cool. That's the stuff that, and I don't really live with regrets, but if I could have a couple do-overs, that would be one. And I've talked about it a couple times on the show, but I was supposed to play quads in the marching band the year after. If I would have finished the year I was in, the following school year I was going to play, and that was the last time, because I dropped out 3 times. That was the last time I dropped out of school. And that's the only one I'm like, I fucking wish I could have done that, because I would have got to do some cool stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Not to mention it would have made my hands way better.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I did everything backwards. My feet developed before my hands did.
Wow.
I don't know why. I guess because I grew up on metal. I have no idea.
Yeah,
anyway,
could be.
Back to you. Did you, and we're going to bounce around for a second, did you ever do anything like in the pit or anything after school? Like any kind of orchestral stuff or any other kind of ensemble
it was
stuff?
interesting. My grandmother, who was actually my step-grandmother, but my grandmother I knew most of my life, wrote musicals, and she did musicals all around town and things like that. And I was going to do one of her musicals with her, and I was really excited. And my Italian grandmother was very ill, and I actually went to Italy with my father while when she was on her final days to be with her.
I hate to hear that.
Yes, but it was a whole weird, and it was a regret. I wish I could have done that. There was no way I was going to, just because of the situation, and so I didn't do that show. And and it is what it is. But I was disappointed that I didn't get to do that with my grandmother before she passed away, because she did some amazing things, and she is so well respected in that circle here in town with doing these musicals, working with kids, and really produced and wrote these great shows.
Right.
When I was growing up, we saw them, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This would be fun to be a part of, and I had an opportunity. It didn't happen. And,
right. No,
we
that's
on,
really cool though. I've just now, I don't want to say ventured down that road, but because of my girl Sydney, what's up, Sydney? I've thought about possibly going into that, and I have no qualms about saying this on the show. There's not a shit ton of money in it compared to the time that you have to put into it. So I have to figure out if I can make it work.
Right.
I want to do it, and it's not everything with me is not all about money, but still,
you've got to make it work.
I've got to make it work.
You got to make it work within the constraints of time and pay your bills and everything else.
Jeannie wants her damn money.
Yeah.
But I really, really want to do it because I watch Benji Simmons do it all the time, and because I've been to 2 or 3 shows now with Sydney in it. The last one I just saw Mamma Mia.
I've been seeing it on Facebook, and I wish I could have gone.
It was killer. It was really, really good. She killed it like she always does. But the show itself was good. The production was great. But I've thought about venturing down that path because I can read.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the unicorn drummer that can actually read music. I know you can too before you say anything.
I gotta say it is what it is.
Yeah, there's just not many of us
Yeah,
that can read. But anyway, a whole another squirrel moment.
It's funny you mentioned. I saw a show several years ago at JCC of all places. They put on great productions, and they had a full band, and this drummer killed it. And went down and talked to him after the show, and I think he's a guy that has played. We were talking earlier about Peter Searcy. I think he's done some stuff with him, but this guy was so solid, and I'm like, I had the same thoughts. This would be so much fun to do, to get involved with and start doing stuff like this. But, I didn't have the time back then. I didn't think I had the time now, but I obviously found the time. And, doing club dates, gigs and all that are mostly at night on the weekend, so it doesn't interfere with too much stuff. But,
right. No,
still
and I get that. When did you figure out that you wanted to start doing the band thing? And before you answer that, the reason I ask it that way is a lot of people I know, and very few people that I keep in touch with, but I still remember, because when we grew up together, when they would get out of whatever marching or whatever ensemble or whatever music they were doing in school, they would immediately stop. Mm-hmm. But you obviously didn't, because you still play. Right. Was there, I guess the better way to ask the question was there a kind of a thought in your head that you went, I want to keep going with this, or did you just immediately jump into bands?
The good thing, we from the band when I was in high school, the concert band and orchestra, some of my best friends to this day, we played together, and so there was my good buddy Joe Shyrick. And John Holcher, you may not know their names.
I've heard John Holcher. I've heard
he's out west in Portland now. An amazing bass player, Joe Shyrick. We grew up. We all went to high school. John and I actually met back in elementary school with Carl Stuck. Carl is another one of my boys from middle school or elementary school. One of my good friends, and right. we've been friends ever since, as well as Sean. But we were kind of the house band in high school. We were, bass, drums, guitar, and whatever else. And so we played. Joe went on to Berkeley, and he always wrote music. So when he came in town, and we were in town from, John went to Western Kentucky, I was at UK, we would get together and we would write, we would play, we would record what Joe wrote. And we did a nice road trip up to Berkeley. It was insane, John and I, and we jammed and wrote some music while we were there. But we continued to play, and we became a group called Joe's Report in the 90s. And it was kind of a power trio, original music, a ton of fun, and we had a good little following back then. And so, I played all along. Nothing like I am today, Right. I mean, original music, you know how it is. You if you play 2 gigs in town, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's the same, it's original music, and you have a lot of the same people coming out and seeing you, and so we traveled a little bit, but we were playing 2 gigs a month, and that's about it. And it's like, oh, that's great. We want to play more. We want to, we were killing it, right? So, but we continued, and we had a lot of fun. We got to open up that was kind of our thing. We were these young guys, and we were tight, and we were just like kind of the new thing. We were may have been a little ahead of our time back then, but we were asked to open up for a lot of great bands that were traveling through, regional. Some of them were, even a little bigger, or whatever, local bands that were big. And so we feel like we had a lot of great shows and had a lot of good time. So we did that for a long time, and then people started having kids, and we back and forth. I quit for a while, then the band went through a transformation and became Ultratone, and so we still record. We get a lot of one thing, like FPK has been very generous to us, and they've always played our stuff, and we've done the live lunches and the Waterfront Wednesdays and all that kind of thing, and that's been great. We've had a really good local, support. And so now it's just basically writing music and recording, and we haven't played out as a group. We did a little reunion show a few years ago. Actually, Peter played with us. And this was probably right when I started doing some stuff with Radiotronic, just kind of building up.
Right.
But we've stayed together, and we still continue to communicate and record when we can. And when my buddy comes in from the West Coast, we'll play and we'll get together. He's coming in a couple of weeks, He's just an awesome dude, great player.
Nice.
Plays with an awesome band. Give them some props out there called Pacific Meantime, a great band out in Portland.
Very cool.
So yeah.
I want to go to Portland. Portland's one of the places I want to see.
It's beautiful.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah. I'll hook you up. I know some people.
I fucking know a guy.
man.
Hey, I know a guy.
That's right.
Now, this is a question that you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Okay.
Are you the original drummer for Radiotronic?
No.
Okay. The reason I asked is because the first time I saw them, it wasn't you.
Correct.
And I have no idea who that guy was. And I'm not being rude. I just don't know. I never talked to him. I never met him. And I don't even know if anybody ever told me his name.
Yeah, Gordon Shirley. He was, in fact, these guys all have this technical background. They're all kind of sound guys, engineers. Jeff Epperson
is a fucking genius.
He's a badass. He's a badass. But he has a beautiful studio out there, Head First Media, and so back in the '90s, they were in a band called Big Head, and they were the rage. I mean, they played the cool ass 9 Inch Nails. They had the show, the lights, the whole thing. They're using the sequencer like nobody else did,
right?
And they put on a badass show, and so
now Kevin, your singer Kevin, was in Big Head too, wasn't he?
Kevin Garvey, yes. Kevin Garvey was, because there's also Kevin Manning, who's Velvet Saints.
Yes.
So we have, but Kevin Garvey, correct. So it was those guys.
I should have said Radiotronic singer Kevin.
Yes, exactly. and so, I remember seeing them a few times back then. I'm like, these guys are local? What the, they should be, and they just had the look and they had the stage presence and so here we are, however many years later, and somehow I was lucky enough to hook up with them, and basically it was me just constantly bugging Jeff, hey man, get me a set list, because someday you might need a replacement. Right. or fill in or whatever.
Right.
It's not as easy as you think with a band. We use the sequencer and the whole thing, and it takes some time.
I get it.
And so it finally came to a point where he's like, hey, Gordon's going to call you because he has some conflicts. And I'm like, what the hell? I was so excited. I'm like, are you kidding me? And
nice.
So, I talked to Gordon, and, I got the set lists, and he's like, hey, in a couple of months, I've got a couple of shows I'm not going to be able to make. Are you up for it? I'm like, hell yeah. So I started cramming, really not a lot of time to rehearse. They played so often that it was mostly just live shows and a rehearsal here or there.
Right.
But I went as often as I could to help him set his shit up and learn the system, because this is new to me. I've never, first of all, we use triggers, which is totally new to me. Mm-hmm. I never used a rack of any sort with, a drum machine and,
program.
Yeah, just all the shit, So I'm like taking notes, taking pictures of everything, what plugs in where and why, and explain this to me. I mean, I was I'm like, oh my God, really? It was just new to me. It was just new.
What did I do?
So I started getting, I went to, I'd sit in on a song here or there. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And so I thought I had like 3 months, and then he called and he said, hey man, I actually got a conflict in 3 weeks. You think you can do this show in 3 weeks? Knowing that the last week I was going to be out of town for a full week for work, trade show, and then I would basically come back and play 2 nights. But I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Hell yeah.
Yes.
And so I packed up I had a little pad set, DW, just a practice pad kit, and I put it in my hotel room, and every second I'm just in there, and it's all pretty basic stuff. But when you factor in the click and the intros and the changes and the things, it's a lot more to think about than just sitting down and playing a song.
Oh, yeah.
And so I fretted it, and I, lost sleep over it, but I was excited and glad that I did it, and it was getting out of that comfort zone and doing something, and got through that weekend a lot earlier than I expected. And so from that point on, I started doing like a filling in 1 show per month for about a year. And then finally, he just had so much going on in his personal life and his work life and all that. He's like, listen, and actually before that, he quit. He was also the drummer for Velvet Saints, and he actually quit that before anything.
Gotcha.
And so I agreed to take that over, and that was a whole nother story, because basically they said our first 2 shows are in New York next month. And I'm like, oh shit, So how am I going to pull that off with work? And I don't know the material, and I'm going to go to New York, really? And so, you know, it was a little bit of stress, but
you think?
You know, I think we all perform best under pressure, and
I think we do too.
It was a good ride.
I was going to say, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was going to say I've always tried to. Sometimes I don't. If I know that I can't pull it off. Other than that, I've always tried to go, fuck yeah, I'll do that. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
I
just,
well, yeah. Say yes.
First of all, I don't want to miss out. I don't want somebody else to step in and then like, you're screwed, you're done.
Exactly.
You know,
I've been in that situation.
Little did I know, you know, leading up to where I kept asking for, hey, I want to play with Radiotronic. You know, they had a guy that was starting to work his way into the rotation, great drummer, Scott Langford. Mm-hmm. He's awesome. And then his wife got called away, you know, to Florida for work, and so he had to move. And so that worked to my benefit because then they're like, okay, we need you to come in and try to do this. But and I've seen him at some shows since, and I think he's like, damn, you know, I think that would be a fun gig to have. And,
oh yeah, that'd be an awesome gig.
It is.
You guys put on a great show. You have a lot of fun while you're up there, which most people are like, well, no shit. I do what you do. I can tell when you're having fun as a show,
right,
and when you're having fun as a reality. You guys are having fun.
We are,
and I could, because I see it. I know the difference between you're putting on a show and what's real.
Yeah,
real or fake, I guess is the best way to put it.
And these guys are all pros.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they have
absolutely.
all been doing it for so long. And you know, even if we might have had the shittiest week, or we might have had some kind of issue or whatever, we get on stage and we have a blast, and we put on a great show, and we work hard, and you know, it's just a ton of fun. And if it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
I agree.
And I think that's why a lot of people are like, you know, and maybe that's why the other guy said, listen, I've had enough, but, you know, are you ready to take it on? And I'm a late bloomer in this kind of game. You know, I've listened to your shows and I hear the interviews with all these incredible drummers, incredible people. And I'm like, they were doing gigs like this back when I was just learning simple drum, you know, simple drum beats. And they were playing gigs like this, you know, every weekend and all this. And so I'm, you know, it's amazing. You know, I'm amazed at how far and how much experience I've gotten in the last 4 years, because it was about 1 year of filling in and learning, and then learning the Velvet Saint stuff, and then, you know, full on.
Right.
And so I've not played more than I have. Basically, in the last 3 years, I've played more than I have since I started.
Gotcha.
Just because it's every weekend, 2 nights, 3 nights, or whatever. There's been 4 nights. We've done shows. You know, we got to open up for Bush, you know, Velvet Saints. That was huge. That was so much fun, you know, and that was the last show that we played with McCreary. I mean, I
was so pissed about that show because I was booked, and it was a private event, so it wasn't even like I could get it subbed. I was like, fuck, because I wanted to see that show.
I mean, it was amazing. It was kind of surreal because I was still in the, you know, cramming phase. I was always like, every spare moment, I got to listen to the song again because I'm not sure this time signature, these things, you know. So I'm still listening to the songs before we went out there and play, just because I wanted it to be solid. And I just remember it was a huge, you know, great night. It was so hot, and I remember having a gig the next night with Radiotronic, and it was outside, and it was just a super hot stretch. And after the second night, I sweat so much, and I puked my guts out, and I never have done that. Really? And it was just straight from being completely exhausted. And you know, the night before, playing out under felt like the solar panels, you know, on that stage. The lights came on, and I just started sweating profusely. And then we had that outdoor show the next night, and I.
So what you're saying is you're a wuss.
I'm really not. But that night I was like, holy shit, this is some work, man. But I earned my money that weekend,
yeah,
I think.
I've never puked, but I know exactly
I've
what
done
you're
it twice
about.
because of that. And
Really?
I've learned you got to take fuel or whatever. I'm a sweater anyway. I sweat a lot. And we're working hard back there. And you play outside. It's 90 degrees, you know, and it's hard to keep the fluids in. You can drink as much as you want, but you got to drink more than just water.
Oh, yeah. The worst stretch I ever did as far as that kind of shit goes, and I don't even remember how long ago it was, it doesn't matter, We did, when I was in Tark Bus, we did 7 nights in a row at the fair in the Bud tent.
Oh my God.
In the first 3 nights we were there, we broke the attendance records. So there's that many people in a fucking vinyl tent in August.
It's a sauna. A sauna.
God, it was brutal. And physically I play hard.
Yeah, of course.
God bless it, fucking sucks.
Yeah. It's rough. And then, then you got to rebound the next day and you're toast and you got to eat, you got to drink, you got to do it all. You got to, and come back and do it the next day.
Yep. And I think we were doing 3.5 hour shows at that point. Now I don't remember how we were splitting them up, but as far as total playtime, it was like 3.5 hours. I mean, it was,
it's brutal.
Oh God. I loved it, but I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I'll do 2 or 3. I don't want to do 7.
Yeah, man. I mean, we do 2, 3. We have 4 every once in a while. But as you know, I mean, we all have jobs during the day.
Yeah.
And one of our guys is a doctor, and he's up at 5, 6 a.m. working all day. And then a lot of times he's on call through the night. I don't know how he does it, but we all bust ass and then go out and put on a happy face and have a great time. But honestly, I would rather do that than my day job all day long. And you suck it up and you go out and you have a blast and
suck it up,
suck it up. That's right. So
I get it on the whole Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch,
really?
Fuck, I love that guy.
I can't even talk. There's a band in Charlotte called Stretch Armstrong. They were a good band. They were heavy as shit, but they were good. The stretch or the run of gigs outside it just sucks. What do you guys got coming up before we move on? Because we're gonna touch on a couple more things because I don't want to keep you all night.
No. We're picking up. We had some time off in December because schedules. Everybody's busy schedule.
Right.
Garvey works for
thing.
UPS, and so he's working nights for a few weeks and all that.
The Crashers go through that because Jesse works for UPS.
And it's a good time to spend with your family. I mean, that's...
I married a fucking elf.
Well?
No.
You married an elf?
I married a fucking elf.
Elves are cool.
Married a fucking elf.
You're going to need to explain a little more. I mean,
My house threw up Christmas. You're here now in the office. You've seen my place.
Yeah.
There's no Christmas here. 2 fucking days it took me to put all that shit away.
Love it.
No, it's not cool. I married a fucking elf.
Oh my God.
December 1st, my wife turned into an elf.
That's awesome, man.
Anyway, so I get to
that.
taking time off for Christmas and stuff, or for at least in December. And plus, because I've been handling a lot of the business for most of the bands I'm in, December is just a shitty time to book.
Yeah.
You either get Christmas parties or you get nothing.
Right.
Because a lot of venues don't want to book anything. Understandably, I get it. I'm not throwing stones or anything. It's just a weird time. Yeah. And especially with, this is an assumption on my part, but with Louisville being essentially a college town, there's a really large portion of the population here that are transplants.
Yeah.
They go home.
Yep.
Or go to where they're from, either or. Like, I'm a transplant, but I don't leave. Fuck my family.
Yeah.
But I don't go anywhere. But I know that there's a shit ton of transplants. So I think that plays into it as well, is basically what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I like that befuddled look you have. That's twice I've used befuddled on this show.
Yeah, huh.
I'm going to have to make that a
good
word.
word.
It is a good word.
Befuddled.
I'm befuddled.
Literally befuddled.
Literally befuddled. I don't understand it.
That's a good one.
It makes me brain hurt.
Listening.
Well, I'm in wordy land because for a couple days I've been, yes, kids, I'm working on my fucking book. I've been doing my 8th round of edits.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in wordy land.
That sounds like fun.
No, it's not. Write a book, they say.
It's good. It's good.
Whatever. Okay, so let's move on to social media issues.
My air cello. I'm an air cello.
Oh, wait, sorry. All right, so what you got for me for social media issues?
Social media, I can't say that I have a lot of issues because...
Well, they can be good issues or bad
yes,
issues.
I know. My issues are that I'm more of a voyeur.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, in more ways than one. No. Facebook, that is.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. Whatever, pal.
There's so many times where I want to respond to shit, and I read a lot on there, and it just amazes me how ignorant people can be.
Oh, yeah.
And that they're just willing to put it out there. So I read and I get frustrated, and I think I should probably not look at it. I use Facebook for music, and I use it for work, and I use it to kill time when I'm at work because I hate my freaking job. But I mean, I'm on the computer all day long, and so I scan through and I look at stuff. But it is frustrating, and without getting political, I just think we're in a time warp right now where people are just nasty in general, and it's hard. It's hard to deal with. I'm surrounded by politics during the day sometimes, and then I read stuff on Facebook, and I want so badly to say something, but it's a bad idea. Right. Even there's so many times where I'll read something that's kind of, I got a funny comment, and I'll type it out, and I'll be like, somebody will take this wrong, and then it'll turn into something that it's not, and I'll get all upset, and I don't need that emotional, I'm an emotional guy, and so I don't like to oh shit, they don't get what I just tried to say, and so I back off and I erase it, and then I move on, and I'm like, but that would have been funny. Somebody would have laughed, but I would have pissed 5 people off. So, more than anything.
Well, just start screenshotting it and send it to me with your comment.
Sometimes I do, and we obviously, we have different groups that I do shit like that for. I'm like, right. Oh my, get a load of this. But
oh no, I do that too.
It's just an amazing time that we're living in, and I think you've said it before. I've heard you say it. Just fucking be nice, people. Just it's not hard. Yeah, it's not hard to you take the high road or whatever you want to call it, but
well, not even that. I think
just
that
don't that. Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, fuck. It's not even that. It's just, it's okay if you don't like something. That doesn't make you a piece of shit. It just means you don't fucking like it.
Right.
Listen, I'll be straight up, and I'm going to be gross, and I never get sexual or perverted on my show because that was one of my rules. But I had a conversation a long time ago. This guy was asking me how I tolerate gay people. He's like, I just don't fucking understand. And
Jesus.
I shut him down immediately. And you know how I shut him down? I said, hey man, I'm attracted to chicks with big breasts. Period. Mike over there, he's attracted to dudes with dicks. What's the fucking difference? Right. You like
Who
what you
cares?
Like. Who fucking cares?
I'm with you, man.
But if you like small tits, I'm not going to get mad at you and go, I fucking hate you.
You
that's
are crazy. Yeah, what is wrong
dumb.
with you?
Right.
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
It makes no
to each
fucking
his own.
sense. Absolutely.
To each his own. And
I
just
don't
get over
get it. I don't and I'll never get it.
Yeah.
I'll never get it. Because guess what? What name did I just say? Mike? Mike's going to go on and go do his thing. And I'm not going to see what he's doing. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit. And he doesn't give a shit what I'm doing.
Right.
And I don't understand. So I get it with you.
Yeah.
Or I should say I get what you're saying because it's like, it's fucking maddening.
It's tough. I mean, and
everybody's right, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You make a comment, it's misconstrued, it's taken so many different ways, and then you're trying to explain it, and you're just like, oh, goddamn, just delete the whole thing because, that's not what I meant to say, and I'm not, whatever, just... Why did I open my big mouth? Yeah, that's right. So
I'm out.
It is, there's so many great things about social media. I love the fact that all my Italian relatives, my cousins, my friends I get to see what they're doing. They post stuff. Right. They send these things out. I see their kids. We never had that,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I get to keep up with people on the other side.
Yeah, we come from the era where we got paper shit in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. You got to wait a long time. Yeah. You got to wait a long time for that stuff. But
hey, did you check the mail today?
Do we get anything from Italy?
We're going to need some of that Italian paper.
That's right. That funny looking light stuff they bring. But So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of great things that come out, and obviously for what we do, promoting music and what we're, it is awesome, but it's still amazing. And I still disagree with so many people out there. Oh, yeah. But I won't tell them. I'll just go, and some of them I'll unfollow because I'll be like, that is some bullshit, and you should have never said that because I did whatever. But
don't get political.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, it is funny because I've said this past 20 shows that social media issue is probably going to go bye-bye, but I just can't help myself because you do what I do. We do the same thing. So I wanted your take on it, but it was funny, and I think I said this on my last show of 2018. Everybody in December, nicest motherfucker on social media you've ever seen. Everything is rainbows and roses.
'Tis the season.
And nobody had anything negative to say. And I went, fuck, can't you bastards be like this the other 11 months of the year?
Right.
I just don't get it. Yeah. And then guess what? January 3rd, everybody's a douchebag
out the window,
again.
man. Yeah. They're being good for Santa. I mean, come on.
He knows you're a douchebag.
Yeah, that's right. He already figured that out a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. You're getting nada.
Yeah.
So I say we just leave social media issues there and move on.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I think we've said enough.
All right. So let's move on to stories from the stage. I may or may not edit this out, but that dance was awesome.
I did a little drum dance because I knew the music was playing. It's like the double bass. I knew it was coming. Just visualize it.
Focus. All right, what do you got for me?
Stories from the stage. Testing 1, 2.
No,
okay. Okay, so that.
All right.
Sorry.
Don't touch my shit.
Cord. I touched the cord.
Touch the cord and unplug it. Okay, so what do you got for me? Stories from the stage. It can be good or bad.
Yeah.
Anything that sticks out in your head.
I've been thinking about this one, and it's tough because as I say, I'm late to the game in this. I mean, I've
this may make you feel better, but almost everybody struggles with this one.
Yeah, I've had some good ones and some bad ones and some fun ones. I think. This is okay. I will. So this is not from the stage, but it was pre-stage, and I know you've heard of Tooligans, the old club on Bardstown Road.
I heard of it. Yeah, I wasn't here then.
I think Hoback was talking about it. That was a place where everybody played. I mean, they did original music, and the Chili Peppers played there, and Smashing Pumpkins, and all these awesome bands came through before they were big, and they played there. But that's where we all played. That's where they did original music, and it was this just freaking black box once you got to the back of it, and black walls. I mean, that's all I remember. I mean, they may not have been black, but when you're in there at night,
right.
But it was a cool place.
Aren't all clubs black at night?
Yes, pretty much. But they got all kinds of shit on the walls and lights. And
They're always weird when the lights are on during the day.
Oh yeah,
every time I load in, I'm like,
you're like, this is dirty. Yeah,
y'all need to now I know why all the paint's black.
We bring a big curtain now, and we cover up main walls with it and stuff. We really do. I mean, we cover up big walls with it. But so we were playing Tooligans, and it was really a great place to play. We set up. It was during the winter time, so it was dark at like 4:30. And we're, in the back of the place, and there was basically you go into the front. When you enter, you go in the front of the room, and there's a bar, and then the bathrooms and the payphone and all that shit, and then there's doors that you enter to get to the back where the music was.
Right.
And then they had like a sound booth that was elevated, and like an office underneath that, and there was a locked door there. So we finished setting up and doing our sound check. And I was fumbling around underneath the soundboard looking for something, and it was dark in there, and I'm touching the walls, and I hit some shit on the wall, a switch that I thought was a light switch. No light came on, and I walked out, and then I go get on the payphone, and I had to call my friend, talking about the show tonight and all this.
Yes, kids. He said payphone.
Payphone, yes.
Carry on.
This place had a payphone. Everybody had payphones back then. Nobody had a cell phone. Not even pagers, probably. But so I'm on the payphone, and yeah, it's dark out, and I'm wearing a toboggan, and I'm probably wearing, I think I was wearing some like fatigues or something, because it was sound check. We were in there loading in. And as I'm on the phone, this guy comes to the front window, and he's like, all I can see is a flashlight shining in my face. And then he pulled it away, and he's like shining it in my face from about, 15 yards away. I'm like, what the fuck's this guy doing? And all I could see was this light. And so my buddy Holcher from the West Coast comes out, my bass player, and I'm like, John, go see what this asshole wants. And I said, be careful, he might have a gun. And I was totally kidding. And right as I said that, he walked away, and he had a gun drawn. And at that point, we both ran in the bathroom, and I dropped the phone. And because I'm like, what the hell? This guy had a gun, and he was pissed off, and he was shining it. So at this point, we hear banging on the glass, and we poke our heads out, and we come out with our hands up. Well, there were probably 5 people on both sides of the window. Some had rifles, some had handguns, and they were all standing there, mad as hell. Let us in, kicking on the door and shit. Well, it ended up this guy, and I didn't admit this for a long time, I will tell you this. Little did we know there was a hold-up alarm underneath the sound, in that little space underneath the sound booth. That's
right.
where they counted the money. That's where they did the deposit. And there was a hold-up alarm. And the lights were off, and nobody knew that. And I pushed that fucking button. And I had no idea that's what that button was. I thought it was a light. And so at this point, these people are mad as hell. Yeah, open the door. And I'm like, we already ran into the bathroom, so they probably think we're, guilty or assholes, or I don't know what. But I'm like, open the door, kicking the door. We don't have a key. We're musicians. I'm just a drummer. Yeah, whatever. And, so finally the sound guy came out, Todd Johnson, local legend. And he was like, hey, he's like, somebody triggered the silent alarm, the hold-up alarm. And he's like, well, nobody knows about that thing except me and none of these guys. And I'm like, yo, shit. And so I said, hey, I walked away, and you handled this. And evidently a bank was robbed like an hour ago down the road. And then they get a hold-up alarm at the Tooligans and the thing. And these guys came in full force. And the person I was talking to, I dropped the phone. They were hearing all this commotion. They hung up. They knew somebody that lived above the place, and they're like, what's going on down there? And they're like, a lot of guys standing out there with guns, but I don't know. And so luckily, so that was an interesting story we told for years. And we all said, wow, it was probably one of those big roaches that pushed that button because we didn't know there was one in there. And as I say, I did admit a few years later that I do remember fumbling around and pushing that button. So that was
good job, buddy.
Yeah. I mean,
what'd you do today?
Set
off
almost
the
got
hold-up
shot.
alarm. I almost got shot.
But it's a good day. I'm getting ready to play a gig. You want to come? So
come hang out with us at Tooligans.
that's the extent. Other than that, I think stories from the stage. I can mention, or I can think of probably 5 times where we had no business being on the stage, and whether it was the band not being prepared, and we're not the right band for the gig, how that goes. And you get up there and you're like, oh my God, just get me off this stage. I'm sorry if we've,
Oh yeah.
And it's just part of growing. And I think that's something, I think I said it before, being out of your comfort zone, ultimately will make you better. But I can remember being that situation more often than not. We played a show and somebody completely screwed up, or we were just not the right band for the situation, and you're afterwards you're just like, oh geez, why did we do that?
Oh, yeah.
We're but it's part of it, man. You get out there and you do your thing, and you do the best you can. And
well, no, I get it completely. It's not only is this the first show of 2019 for me, it's also my 1-year anniversary of the Bar Star podcast. I waited till now to tell you. I was trying to figure out where I could slide it in. You should feel special. But the reason I slid it in,
it's not a disaster.
Nothing is a disaster, sir. The reason I slid
some
it
of
in
my
here,
gigs in the past, like I just said, I'm gonna walk away.
Well, when you hit the hold up
Just
alarm,
one
dummy.
time. Yeah.
No, the reason I decided to slide it in here, I was going to save it to the end, but the very first stories from the stage I did on my show was the death metal band in a hippie bar.
Perfect.
The fuck were we thinking?
What are you gonna do?
Hey,
Gave them a
look
little
at
taste
these
of something that they weren't expecting.
It was something. Poor people. Probably some fucking hippies up in the mountains somewhere shaking with fucking PTSD.
What was
and shit.
that?
What the fuck was that?
What was that?
This one time down in Colombia.
You remember those bald guys with tattoos and fingernail polish?
They wore
Earrings.
They were wearing spandex. I didn't understand death metal and spandex.
On earth. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's pretty funny. All right,
Good
give
stuff.
me one of your favorite ones before we move on.
My what?
One of your favorite stories.
My favorite stories.
Yeah, from the stage. Give me one. Give me one that just sticks out in your head.
Shit.
Come on.
I don't know. Come on, you're putting me on the spot.
That's what I do on
I
this
know you
fucking
do.
show.
I know. I was trying to think of a good one. I think I'm amazed every time we play, Radiotronic. And I love that people have so much fun.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But I'm sure it's most all the bands out there, but I really wish that I had my GoPro going at all times because, as a drummer, you get to see some things that not everybody sees, and you get to watch people and how they react and how they're looking at different things. Some of it's creepy. Some of it's kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah.
The other night, we had a guy that wanted to sing right in front of Kevin Garvey the whole time, like literally
Good job.
6 inches away, basically on the other side of the mic. And he knew every word. So I'm proud of the guy. He's probably a singer, but you got your singer up there singing, and this guy is completely opposite, as if he was a mirror singing, and he did not stop the whole night. Oof. You were there that night, but it was the first 2 sets.
I got there late.
I mean, and we were just kind of like.
I do remember you and Kevin were telling me that when you were breaking down.
Yeah, we were.
Kevin was still laughing about it. Yeah,
and Epperson was like he's like gritting his teeth, like, oh my god, I'm going to kick that guy. Just back. You just want to give us some space, and I see that and they do it with Rachel, and they do it with they're just right there, and. But it's part of it. Yeah, we have fun and good. I'm glad you're having such a good time.
If a drumstick happens to hit you in the head as you're walking away,
I think about it all the time.
I don't know if it was me or not.
That's right. Hey, I'm sorry. I mean, they all have access to my sticks.
I have a lot. I'm just saying. I have a plethora.
One good. I don't have a good story from the stage. I should tell the Carl Stuck story though, and I was gonna. And you can edit it if you want or not.
Oh no,
no! I love Carl, and he'll probably be pissed that I'm going to tell the story. But we were in 6th grade, and we were in a band together.
Oh no, he doesn't give a shit about that.
Yeah,
he likes old stuff.
Oh yes, no, but this is funny. And back then, I was just starting to play the drums. I didn't have my own drum set,
right?
And so, but a buddy of mine.
Did you use his Bugs Bunny drum kit?
I did not use that one.
Damn it.
But our friend who was in the band with us played sax, and he had this cool-ass Slingerland red swirly wrap kit. It was badass, and we used that and all that. And I was kind of a spaz, as you can tell. I'm a little bit spastic now here. But
sure, you're a fucking drummer.
I'm hyper, yeah. And
all drummers are spaz.
That's right. And I was so excited to be playing in a band and behind a drum set because I didn't have one at home. So when I got behind one, so anyway, I wore out my welcome, and I got kicked out of the band, and they wrote a letter to me in this real fancy squiggly writing, and I think it started off, life isn't always a bowl of cherries, and they basically were kicking me out of the band. And my buddy John, the bass player, was in that Holcher from the West Coast, and they were all in it. They to this day they truly feel bad about it, and I joke about it and I laugh about it. I think it made me a better person.
I think it's
today, funny. But when you're a kid, you're like, that's some cold shit. I got this letter that they all signed, and they basically said, hey,
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, maybe someday, you can come hang out with us if you want, but, and I'm like, ouch. But, Carl and John and I are the only ones still playing today, and I thank them for...
Oh, no.
But I had to bring it up. It came up recently, and Carl, to this day, he's like, God damn, why are we our kids can be so shitty. I mean, shit. And I'm like, dude, it is so okay, but Carl, I had to bring it up. Yes, we love Carl.
I love you more now.
Carl's the man.
Carl is the man.
And he's a, and I will, the thing that he does every Sunday with the new music is pretty amazing. That he did
yeah.
that for a year.
He did.
You know,
I'm
I've
sure
been kind
he'll
of looking at
continue
that.
this
Yeah,
year. I
that's
haven't
pretty
talked to him
crazy.
yet.
That's a lot of work.
That's too much work.
Yeah. He's a musician full time. He can do it. I don't know if you can or not, but
I love that fucker. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. That
that
works.
had to end on that little love you, Carl and Holcher and all you boys that signed that letter that I probably still have somewhere. I deserved it. You know.
Hey, what
What are you gonna do?
You fucking deserve it. You deserve it. All right. So let's move on to what are you listening to? Freeze. And you remember when it comes out. And go. All right. So what do you?
I listen to so much random.
Oh God, the motherfucker that comes on my show.
I know.
Immediately
it's
start
hard.
talking. It's like there's music here. Oh
It's
no,
hard.
I love it. I
Yeah.
legitimately love it. It makes me happy.
I have a hard time thinking about.
just like,
yeah, I don't know. I listen to. I think everybody says I listen to what I'm trying to learn, and that doesn't count. I know.
No, it does not. Unfortunately,
No,
I wish it did because
no,
what I'm
it
learning
is.
right now will blow your mind.
Oh, do tell. Well, yeah. Oh,
Secret project. Can't tell
I
you.
want to know.
I'll tell
All
you.
right.
I'll tell you when we stop. When
There
I
we
hit
go.
stop, I'll tell you.
Cool. You know, I'm a big jazz fan because I can't play. I wish I had jazz chops. I listen to it and I'm amazed at these players. And every time, I see them, they make shit look so easy that you're like, what the, how do you do that?
Yeah. No, I get it.
As somebody's, said a while back to me, it's another language,
Completely.
and it's a language I'd like to learn. And I listen to it and I study it, but I'm not a jazz drummer and I probably never will be, but
Oh, I know I'll never be.
know.
And I came to terms with it years ago, and I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not demeaning myself in any stretch. I hit too fucking hard.
yeah.
Now, I still have dynamics, but I still hit too fucking hard. I just can't. I do not have that kind of finesse to play
with you.
jazz. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get. I was butthurt at first. I really was. I was pissed. I was like,
I can do this shit, man. Come
Yeah.
on.
And then I came to terms with it's okay to have a strength.
Yeah.
And it's okay to admit your weaknesses, which I've talked about on the show. So I'm not
But
gonna
it's
go into
also
here, but
something that you can be like, I'm in the closet, I'm going to try to lighten it up.
I'm gonna learn a few things here.
You say that about dynamics. It's so interesting because, playing a trigger kit is, you lose the dynamics, you
Weird,
lose
yeah.
the whole, and I find myself, the beginning of the show, I make a conscious effort to play light. If I can hear it and I can see that it's triggering, then it's all good.
Yeah.
And so I lighten up, especially when we do private parties and stuff. But then by the end of that, I'm just like, and I'm hammering it and I'm like, everybody's fine with it. But I'm like, God, why am I? But, so yeah, there's
Stacey
that.
says that to me all the time. Like,
Lighten
Yeah.
up. Relax, dude. Relax.
Gas Money's last show was New Year's Eve. I don't know if you knew
Yeah,
that.
I
or not.
do that. And I wish I could have been there.
Oh, I didn't say it for that, but I wish I could have been at your show, but I was busy. We were both busy.
Yes, we were.
We were working.
Working. That's good.
But so of course I took out my full Gretsch rig, the full thing.
Nice.
All my fucking. I took all my toys, and I played my ass off. And I probably played a little harder than I should have. It didn't hurt that there was about 700 fucking people in front of me.
Absorbing all that.
Yeah. So that didn't hurt. But the point I'm getting at is I woke up the next day and I was
You
like,
can feel it. Yeah.
God.
Feel it
Took
up.
me about 20 minutes to get out of bed. And Stacey looks at me and goes, "You got a little overexcited last night, didn't you, fucker?"
How you feeling, big boy?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
I get it. No, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I do it to myself.
Right.
Because in that moment, it's perfect.
Exactly.
The next day, it sucks. But
And the crowd is wanting it, man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you're
They're
like you said,
totally
when you got
wanting
that many people, it's one thing you're playing in a small place and you're like, okay, I do have to play lightly because,
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
All right, so anyway, back to what are you
back to
listening
that.
to?
I get on kicks. I like to pull up stuff that I'm a huge Police fan, and I'll just put that on and just, I'll sit down and play, stuff that I haven't listened to in forever. And
Right.
it's pretty awesome because it's like, okay, now, I can play this stuff. I used to not be able to keep up or whatever, but, I love classical music, and I'd listen to that when I'm stressed out or when things are. I just like the calming. I've always listened to it from being in band and orchestra and in high school, and I'll put it on in my car when I'm driving around, and it calms me.
That's cool.
It is, we have a great local channel. I mean, that 90.5 on the public radio.
Oh, yeah,
They play some great classical stuff, and I drive around, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a soundtrack, like listening to a soundtrack of a movie or something, man. I'm like, this is pretty cool, but it does really relax me. I try to make it a point to put it on the channel at the end of the day. So when I turn on my car in the morning,
right.
I'm going to work and I'm stressed out, but I hear this calming music. So
that's cool. The biggest reason I think it's cool is I do the same thing, except I use smooth jazz.
Yeah.
Which is essentially funk with a saxophone.
Yeah.
But
man,
that's the same thing.
Yellow Jackets, I love it. Chick Corea and John Patitucci and that whole combo. I
yeah.
listen to that kind of stuff, and that's
but
it's
that's
just
what
funky
I use to,
and it's groovy, and it's like, man, that's some cool stuff.
And that's what I use to calm me down.
Yeah,
and I wish hear something.
I wish I could say, hey, I'm listening to all these great bands that Carl's posting on Sundays, and that somebody will say, hey, check out Snarky Puppy or something. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Or check out this, but I'm a creature of habit, and I kind of listen to what I've, what I like to hear. And the cool thing about iTunes, I'll put it on. Like, I heard a Yes song on the radio on the way to work, so I put it on Yes Essentials, and so I'll listen to that for 2 hours or whatever. Rush Essentials or whatever the band of the day is. Love 311, man, funky stuff.
Oh yeah,
man.
Chad Sexton's such a good drummer.
And again, and I sit down and I'm like, wow, there was a time when I would not even attempt. And I'm like, wow, I can actually keep up with some of this stuff. And that's kind of a good feeling.
Growth is always good.
It is awesome, so
it's always
nice
good
to kind of measure where you are.
Yeah, Max, you still owe me 7 lessons. Damn it. It's cool when you can recognize it in yourself. Hey, not only do I have shit I need to learn, look at everything I fucking learned.
Right.
When you can, to me, my opinion, when you can do both, you're perfectly grounded. Yeah. Doesn't mean you know everything and you're the best, but you're perfectly grounded in who and what you are. Because I'm the same way. There's a lot of shit that I want to learn that I say it arrogantly, kids, as smart as I am. As much knowledge as I have musically, I've hit a wall.
Yeah.
Again, for about the 5th or 6th time in my playing life, I'm at that wall. I'm like, fuck, I can't go anywhere else. Because it's all in my head. Right. I need somebody else to give me their thought about it. But at the same time, I also go, man, look at all the fucking shit I've done. Like the past couple of years, what you were talking about earlier about the triggers and the sequences and stuff. When I started Gas Money, I wasn't using tracks. Probably 4, 5, 6 months in, I started using tracks, and that was a whole new ball game for me. I had to learn how to do all that shit and how to trigger them and how to make a one shot versus a loop and all that, and playing all that shit to a click. Which playing to a click has never bothered me, but doing it live while controlling everything,
it's a new ball.
Oh man, it was a fucking huge learning curve. Yep. But I did it, and I did it well. At least I think I did it well.
Yes.
I mean, I've got it now where I don't have to think about it. Right. Which even though the band's over, like New Year's Eve, I was just, I don't even have to think about this anymore. It's kind of cool. It was a thought that popped in my head when I was on stage, but
it is amazing. There's so many things to think about and to, I wish I could just get up there and worry about playing the song, but.
The look on your face was priceless.
Yeah, that cat scared the shit out of me. I got to tell you, it jumped down. I was about to.
Sebastian has been on the show a few times.
He jumped right down.
Yeah, and, he may or may not.
He's
come over
enjoying
here
it. Actually, it's hungry now.
No, yeah, that's his thing. He just fucking shows. I call him the orange fuckball.
Corner of my eye, I thought he was coming to get me.
Oh no, he's a sneaky bastard. That's why I call him the orange fuckball.
Ninja. But
anyway,
yeah. So. I lost my train of thought right then, but all the different...
You're talking about, you wish you could think about certain things on stage.
Without being distracted by a cat jumping out of the corner.
Yes.
But, to be able to just sit and think. But I wonder, okay, is the computer... We've had issues where the computer stops or the click drops out or the trigger stop or my... there's so many things that can go wrong when we're playing pretty basic music.
Right.
And so it adds just another level of, I got to think
Anxiety.
more. And you're right. I can't. But that's good. And at the end of the night, it's like a huge accomplishment, and you're like, oh God, I survived again.
I made it through.
But it is.
Nothing went
This is
wrong.
all new. This thing has been pretty new to me, and I love it. I mean, I guess I'll keep going back to that.
No,
Ultimately, it's a great thing,
dude,
and I'm
it's
glad
fun.
that I'm.
It's all about you, bro.
Yeah. Well, of course.
I mean, it's always about me because my fucking name's
It's
on the
your
show.
shit, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
no, that's all. That's good that you keep going back to that, because that tells me, because I'm looking at you and everybody that's listening to the show, that you're excited about it and you're into it and it makes you happy and you're digging it.
and that's what it should be about.
Absolutely.
And here's Sebastian. Come here, buddy.
I'm wondering if he's going to talk. Are you going to talk, dude?
Meow. Looks like Morse, the old Morse. I had a cat like this.
You going to talk today? Of course not, because today I actually want you to, and now you're not.
Hello in
because
my
you're a
head. It's
fucking
like
asshole.
the old cartoon,
Oh.
Hello in my head. Maybe I should try
Hello, my
the
baby.
singing,
Hello,
the
honey.
singing frog.
What are you doing, buddy?
We're playing with a kitty cat, just so you know. But he's got his claw into my chest, and it's all good.
Come here, buddy. What are you doing, bud? Huh? What are you doing? No, but that's really cool that you still love what you're doing, because I've admitted it openly in conversation and probably on the show. There's a big part of me, I'm really jaded, and I'm super cynical, and I know it. I admit it. I have no problems admitting it. But and not to defend it or make excuses, but I think the reason I'm that way, I've been doing this for 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
name it, I've seen it. You name it, I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, it's just, it does, I don't want to say that it sucks the fun out. I mean, because as soon as all the bullshit's done and my drums are set up and I sit down,
Yeah.
I'm on. And I'm having a fucking blast. It's all the bullshit that I've done for a quadrillion hours before and after is what makes me kind of jaded and cynical.
And for me, it's still new enough to me.
Yeah,
I've been
and
doing
that's
it.
awesome.
We are grinding for the last however many years I've done it with this band, but it's not I'm not burnt out. I enjoy
Right.
it, and maybe if I did it 10 years before leading up to this, I'd be like, Jesus, okay. I mean, because there are some nights, where you're like, holy shit,
Oh, yeah.
getting ready to sit down and play at 10 o'clock and know you're going to be playing till 2 or 3 and then break down or whatever it is, and it is what it is.
But that's, to flip it back, that the cool part about what we do is that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about my secret project.
I can't wait.
That's one of the reasons I'm so excited about it, because it's new, and I'm approaching this in a way that I've never approached another project that I've tried to build. So I've got that fire again, and I've got that hunger, and I'm like, fuck yes, this is going to be awesome. Or it could flop.
Yeah.
But either way, so far, knock on wood, I've been having a blast with it. And I can't wait. I will tell you kids, I promise.
Awesome.
I can't wait for it to come out and see what people think about it. It's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting and cool. But the ultimate point is, I don't have that jaded attitude towards it anymore.
Right.
I'm just like, let's go.
Fresh.
I have to rehearse? Okay, cool. I fucking hate rehearsing, but I don't care. I got 3 rehearsals this coming week. My eyes are crossed, but I'm in. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because usually I'd be
That's
like,
good.
you
That's
fuckers go ahead and rehearse,
nice,
and I'll be
fresh
there on the
show when
third
it
day.
can-
Fuck
Put it all
y'all.
together.
Yeah, you don't fucking need me. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's killer.
Hey guys, this is Steve Owens from Fascination Street Podcast here with a very important message. I'm awesome. I bet you thought I was going to say something else, but nope. What's important here is that I am awesome. I have a podcast called Fascination Street, and it allows me to bring to my listeners some of the most fascinating stories and guests. I started this show because I truly believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear those stories. In the short time I've been doing this show, I've interviewed actors, directors, writers, inventors, podcasters, musicians, pro athletes, Olympic athletes, actual war heroes, even a Bond girl and a luthier, whatever the hell that is, and of course, regular people. From people who wanted to be stars but never gave it a real try, to big company CEOs and people who got to meet their favorite president. I love getting to meet and speak with people who have a story to tell. I feel like everyone does, and it's my job to get them to tell it. You never know who my next guest will be. An Academy Award-winning actor, a platinum-selling musician, or your own mother-in-law. But one thing is for certain, you will be fascinated by their story. So come take a walk with me down Fascination Street. You can find this show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course, FascinationStreetPod.com.
Well, that's it, kids. That's a show for the week.
The first show of the year.
First show of the year.
I'm pretty honored and privileged.
I'm pretty honored and privileged that you said yes. I do have to tell this story. When I saw you at the levee the other day, or whatever night it was, a couple weeks ago, whatever, I walked up to you and I said something, and you looked at me and you said, literally. And I went, the fuck out of here with that shit. I did not know that you listened to my show.
I do, yes.
I appreciate it.
I listened early on when you did it, and I listened to a couple right after that. And then I gave it a break, and then once I saw you, I listened to a few more. But I listened to several of them right off the bat, and was very impressed. I mean, this is not there's a lot involved here. This ain't no Mickey Mouse operation. I mean, you're getting shit done. I like that.
I do shit. I try to.
That's pretty awesome. And
Well,
I feel honored to be here and a part of this. And I still don't feel like I belong in this whole brotherhood, man. But
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I'm here, man.
Listen.
Yeah, tell me, break it down.
Listen. You got an awesome Italian last name.
Yeah, see,
You got a hot wife.
that's right.
You play in a great band.
Mm-hmm.
You got some pretty drums, even though they're pearl. I'm just kidding.
Triggers, hey.
No, I was going more with the pearl thing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm giving you shit. No, dude, you're a great fucking player. Every time I've seen you, I'm just, God, the fucking guy's so good. You don't give yourself enough credit.
Thank you. Well,
And I respect you, and I think you're a peer, and I think you're a friend.
thank you, man.
And now I know more stuff about you.
Absolutely, I appreciate that very much.
And your wife's hot.
She is. She's the hottest.
She's
and
tall.
we, and while we're talking about hot wives and stuff, yeah, she is. Tall drink of water. We give our wives a lot of credit because this is difficult. As you know, we play all the time and we play crazy hours, and it's not just the crazy hours, but you play on a Saturday. Half your day is, you're going to set up, and that takes up a good chunk of time, and then you got to go back, and then you're probably a jerk during the day because you're thinking about the gig or whatever.
I'm a jerk every day.
Yeah, but in addition to your jerkiness, then you add that. And,
I'm a jerky douche.
And it's a lot, and it's tough. We'll say, they love to come out to the shows, but it's work for them to come out to the show because they might want to just sit back and chill, and they're kind of celebrities in a sense.
I was going to ask you.
That's
let me ask you
another
this.
kind of a bar star story.
It is. Well, and
Could be another topic, maybe.
Stacey was on my show.
I know.
I got probably the most feedback from her show, at least in the top 3 as far as amount of feedback, because everybody loved it because it was her perspective on what she deals with.
Right.
But what I was going to ask you is, I'm just curious, do you get where people will come up to your wife to get to you?
I see that. No, there's
Okay.
no doubt, and I've heard that from her, several times, and she's kind of like amazed at it. She's like, I feel like, I'm some kind of, and I.
Or they want to talk to her because she's
that's
your
right.
wife.
It's almost this like celebrity status. I mean, we're just players up there, entertaining, having a good time, and But she did say that early on, when I started playing. She's like, oh my gosh, these people think I'm somebody special because I'm the drummer's wife or what, It's like she walks in and they're like, oh, come here, want to, and she's kind of like trying to just, okay, I just want to hang out and watch,
Yeah.
And so it's a little added pressure, you can't just, you have to be on your game a little bit. You have to be ready to, you don't have to be, but you don't want to come across as like an asshole and be like, but people want to,
Speak for yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah, some people do. Some people do. But, I heard the stories and I know it's tough, and I know that
it is.
It's hard to deal with our schedules, our crazy schedules, and our egos too. I mean, we do. We're egomaniacs. I mean, we like the attention. We like. It just is what it is, and
You have to have an ego to do what we do. I've said
but-
it a million times if I've said it once. You have to have an ego to do what we do.
right.
People that don't have an ego can't succeed doing what we do.
You also have to be gracious, and there's so many other things that come
absolutely.
along with that where you're just like, oh yeah, well,
Absolutely,
and not
but I think
be a douchebag.
right.
I
do
can't
think that the
people-
ego is the biggest thing that you have to have, because you have to be confident enough in yourself as a human to get on a stage and entertain people.
Right.
That's why I say that. That doesn't mean that you're an ego fucking maniac and
Correct.
you're an arrogant prick. Some of the people I know that are the most monster players, Kevin McCreary, had zero ego, zero arrogance.
And maybe there was a time when he did, but
It's possible.
yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
he's so damn cool.
Oh yeah, he was. But we're out of here.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you taking the time, brother.
I loved it. I appreciate you having me out here.
Absolutely. I mean, you're kind of handsome.
Well, yeah, I try.
You got that.
It's all this naturally curly hair. Just kidding. My hair's
Why you got
pretty
to talk
short.
about hair, motherfucker?
Hey, man, I'm actually thinking about going high and tight like you.
Well, that ain't high and tight. This is the winter dew. I don't go to the skin in the winter. I
Looks
can't.
good.
I
I mean, there's some skin there.
Well, yeah, but there's also some peach fuzz. No, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it, man.
pleasure, man.
I
Anytime.
learned some stuff about you. You're an awesome person. You're an awesome
You're an
drummer.
awesome person, man.
Oh, stop. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you're welcome anytime. High five in the microphone.
That was a
That
good
was a
one.
good
Yeah,
one.
Fucking yeah. All right.
And as I say at the end of every episode, go do some shit. Luca, tell him.
Literally, go do some stuff.
Yes. Yes. Go do some shit. Go practice. Enjoy this year.
And be
Stop being
fucking nice to
douchebags.
people,
Yes!
man. How about that?
Look at
They
that.
should
We
be
were on the
like
same
that
page.
kind of, you know.
We were on the same
that's
page.
Right. There
We were
you
on the
go.
same page.
That's
Look
right.
at you.
Okay.
Later, y'all. So until next time, I will talk at you soon.